What if I told you 1 out of 3 of our kids can't read at grade level? And what if I told you that kids' educational futures in Arkansas have been determined by their zip codes? And what if I told you some people are A-okay with this and they're fighting any and every effort to change the status quo and solve these generational problems? Well, I have bad news. That's exactly what's been happening for the last 150 years. And they're still trying, even today, through frivolous lawsuits and ballot petitions. But things are about to change. Thanks to the LEARNS Act, every child in Arkansas will now have access to the school of their choosing, regardless of income or zip code. And families will get to keep a portion of their tax dollars to help cover the costs. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it's real. You get to choose where to send your kids to school, not bureaucrats in Little Rock. Here's 3 reasons why educational freedom is going to finally solve generational problems in Arkansas. Number 1, educational freedom creates a level playing field. Because let's be honest, we've had school choice in Arkansas for as long as we've been a state, but it was only for the rich kids. It was only for those who could afford to go to private schools or move to different school districts. The result? Our education system has been picking winners and losers for generations. Tens of thousands of Arkansas kids are trapped in a school with F letter grades. They've had no hope and no path to better opportunity. But that's about to change because educational freedom levels the playing field for all of our kids. No longer are just the rich kids the ones with options, but all Arkansas children and parents can pick the school that's best for them. Number 2, educational freedom brings accountability. For far too long, there have been no repercussions for schools that are failing our children. There was no reason for a failing school to get any better. They would receive the same level of funding and the same number of students, whether they performed well or not. But as a basic lesson in common sense and economics 101 would say, competition means better results for everybody. So no longer do failing schools get a free pass, because if they fail to meet parents' expectations, families can vote with their feet and take their kids elsewhere. Private, charter, and micro schools will also face increased accountability because they will now have real competition. And meanwhile, good performing public schools will maintain their incentive to continue to perform for students and for parents. And finally, educational freedom means better education outcomes for all of our kids. Look, the research is really clear. When the power to decide rests in the parents' hands, public schools drastically improve and all boats are lifted. Look, the numbers speak for themselves. The 2022 National Assessment of Educational Progress showed that both reading and math scores for 4th and 8th graders plummeted nationwide from 2019 to now. And for Arkansas, our state has historically ranked near the bottom in the nation for reading, math, and college readiness. But here's the good news. Other states that have adopted educational freedom are already proving that it works. Look, here's the bottom line. We've been failing and failing our kids for generations, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. But now, we're breaking the status quo. By funding students rather than funding systems, educational outcomes will improve. Schools will be held accountable and more opportunity will be accessible for our kids. Gone are the days of Arkansas being ranked near the bottom because parents were not given a say. Here are the days of Arkansas kids being given the opportunity of limitless potential because parents finally have a voice. And tomorrow are the days of Arkansas kids leading the nation because we decided to invest in them. Finally, we're putting students first and parents back in charge. To learn more about educational freedom, please visit empowerarparents.com.